Everybody, and happy Saturday night. We are again streaming Anything Ash is a Creation. So, any questions you got tonight, we're going to be talking to Node War. First, I'd like to go ahead and welcome my wonderful and one beautiful and one intelligent co-hosts.
Which one's which?
Which one's which?
Yeah.
Who's got more money? We got Paranada on top and Quirian on the bottom, and you have to forgive me, Quirian. You can spell your name properly because I screwed it up. So I will fix that later.
Did you?
I screwed it up. I think it's wrong. So I
forgot
apologize.
There's an I.
Yeah,
There's an I between the E and the R.
I'm old. I'm blaming it on that. That's what I'm going with. So I hope everyone has a great day. It looks like Dark Mitten's been ousted by my bot already. Good job, Dark Mitten. Welcome to the channel again, buddy. I'm looking forward. If for all those that don't know, I do have an interview lined up with Dark Mitten. So make sure you guys are coming to check that out. I want to say that's on June 3rd. So check that out and let's see what Dark Mitten's got for us. I want to hear all about his Ashes of Creation content journey. But in the meantime, we had a pretty outstanding and exciting live stream just yesterday. Let's hear your guys' thoughts and what you guys think. And Perry, we'll start with you.
We got what we've been waiting for. Everyone wanted PvP. Everyone wanted dynamic objectives and things like that. It was easily one of the best streams I've seen, honestly. It might be up there. I know we were talking about it before about how, like, rating wise, like, what are the best streams. I loved it. Absolutely.
Where would you put it at? Are you talking 10 out of 10? Is this the best one of the year so far?
Yeah, I would say it's the best one. Yeah, just
okay.
I like the fighter one too, and I'm a crafter, so I like the profession ones too. But yeah, it's easily the best overall.
Okay. And your initial thoughts, Kurian?
I was extremely excited after seeing this stream and being able to actually see more gameplay was huge. I do have to say that after talking with a bunch of the PIs and getting thousands of questions and stuff answered, I am extremely excited because I have yet to hear a single person that has the hand on every single class so far say that this class feels weak or this class is bad.
You know, I would agree with that. And I was just telling Perry before the stream that every class that I watch and all of them they've put out so far, I gotta be honest with you. Although I am looking forward to playing the Rogue, and that's gonna have to wait till later in Alpha 2, but probably the Ranger until then. I am excited about all of these classes. I literally could make a case to play every one of them. So far, I think they've made just like I said, a really good case for you to go in open-minded and try any of the classes. So I completely 100% agree with you. And I enjoyed the fact that you could, the way the Node War operated, the way they pulled up the commission boards. I loved seeing that. They went in depth on how to go about it. It looks like it took, what was it, a day? It lasted for a day pretty much, or it only took a day to start? How did you guys interpret that? Because there was a timer on there when he clicked it. There was a 1-day timer. I don't know if they have to complete that before the 1 day or how that
get all
works.
the material. Yeah, like so you put out the commission, and then I'm assuming if the players of all the nodes don't fill that commission, it just doesn't go through.
Then it doesn't go through.
And I guess he can just keep redoing it every day, maybe, or maybe there's a cooldown. Maybe, who knows? I didn't see a cooldown or anything like that.
Yeah, they didn't really bring that up, so I'd like to know more about that mechanic.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
We were talking about how when they put up the board from the mayoral point of view, and he initiated the war, there was a cooldown on it. It said 1 day, so we don't know if that's 1 day they have to get it organized and give the resources, and it goes null after that, or how that works.
So I know that the wars are supposed to last a couple weeks, or like a few days to a week. I think that's what they said during the thing.
Once they've been initiated, or once they've been supplied, I guess I should say.
Yeah, once the war is initiated, it's supposed to last a couple of days to a week, and that depending on how long people take to actually build up points, or if it's like a landslide or something.
Okay.
The starting of it is supposed to be like essentially like a progression bar. You have to have enough participation from the node citizens to activate it. How long that time frame is, I'm not sure.
Okay. And what it didn't look like, it was funny. Steve was like, "Oh, I might just happen to have the exact amount of resources in my inventory." It was what, 20 glint or something like that they needed for the resources. It wasn't anything ridiculous.
I thought it was some special thing. I'm going to go back and look at it right now, see if I can't find the actual thing. Maybe it was glint, but yeah.
I know the
Oh, so yeah.
rewards were glint.
I was saying, I know the resources that he turned in, like, yeah, he automatically had 21, but I think it was like some sort of material.
It was, yeah, I don't know if it was a
Yeah.
special mayoral material that he can make or something, or
I think the board was for everybody. Like, those quests anybody could pick up and do. So I think it was some sort of crafting material that was needed or something along those lines.
What are your thoughts on just the overall? So, give me a breakdown from the whole process of starting the node war into when they went into the siege camp and were preparing for the node war. Careering, why don't you go ahead and take us away in your initial thoughts of the whole process?
Like, just from the beginning to the siege camp?
From the beginning to the siege camp, and then we'll break it down from the siege camp when the war actually started.
I mean, not much happened between starting and running over to the siege camp, other than that they had a little scripted mini fight at the beginning to showcase that just killing people gave points. So
I was happy to see that.
It was cool seeing it and knowing that, hey, if you're out there in the world and you're at war with them, if you kill them, yet you still gain points. So you don't have to actually participate in the events to contribute.
Yeah, they gave them some surprise butt sex for sure.
Me, not that kind of orc.
But it was, the events are supposed to be only during prime time. So
yes,
the only way
6 to 8, right?
Points, I don't know the exact prime time. It's whatever prime time is for the server, so probably 6 to 8.
Yeah, it'd be local time. I think he said 6 to 8, so which would be good.
But we do know that there can be multiple events in a day, and doing the events gives you a good chunk of points, but that's not how you win. So there will be a lot of active PvP going on during the node war outside of prime time.
The part
will be giving us points.
Yeah, the part that I liked was, the PvP between the nodes will go all day long. So if you're a gatherer or something like that from your node, people who are, because you get was it 1 point or 5 points per kill, something like that. I think
it was 1 point per kill, and they said that if you killed a mayor, it was worth more points. I don't know how many. But there was also they were talking about possibly adding in the mayor can appoint other people and distribute mayoral powers to them, and they would be worth more points too.
Okay.
So, vice mayors or captains or whatever. Yeah.
But the thing about it though is, talking to some of the PI people, the mayor buffs that they had, like that physical damage buff that we saw used in it.
Yeah, that big sword.
Yeah.
Buff. Yeah.
Those are incredibly strong and turn the tide of a battle almost instantly.
Those and the dragon buff
without a mayor versus one that is, you're gonna get your shit kicked in essentially.
So that's going to be a big thing is to make sure that your mayor is not only a good mayor, but he's an active mayor. Yes. You want to have an active mayor. If your mayor's a, just a scrub and doesn't want to really participate, just wanted the title, maybe, and I don't want to put Asmongold in this because I know he's going to play. He's a degenerate like the rest of us. But if you have someone else who just, wants that title or maybe paid all the money somehow, but he doesn't want to play all the time, well then, yeah, I could see how that could definitely be a detriment.
So the other side of that also is that mayors of a tier 6, a metropolis, they get flying mounts like the dragon for just being the mayor of metropolis. So,
and then they lose it, when it times runs out, right? So
the dragons apparently do set health damage, or that was just how it is for that. But it was doing like 33% of somebody's health every time it dive bombed.
33. It looked like half. It looked like that, and then it tripped everyone in the area. It was just nuts.
I don't think it did exactly half, because I know that some of them are already damaged. That's
Nah,
the
that
problem
makes
with the
sense,
health
yeah.
pips. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah. Okay, so it says, donate batches of 20 T1 gatherable materials to fund the war effort. So I'm assuming T1 means tier 1 gathering
Yeah.
materials. And then, so that was like a big thing said in the stream, though, is that crafters have to keep funding the war. You know, like you have to work double effort to actually keep funding the war, which is very interesting. It's like awesome. So the mayor's like, all right, miners, loggers, just keep, funneling all materials no matter what. Everything from your guild bank. We're going to do all this to keep this
It
war
looked
going.
like there was a cooldown for turning them into, so you couldn't like fund the effort yourself.
When they got to the siege camp, I don't know. I don't know if I would have agreed with Steven's strategy that they had for that. Since they dropped those on death, I think I would be more inclined to have scouting and then in large groups taking out their guys, killing them, getting points for that, and stealing the stuff that they just harvested. I think that would be a better way to go than just trying to split everybody up and do it the way they did. What do you guys think?
Divide and conquer. That's the way they won. You're going to have to spread out
But
everything.
did they
That's like the
win?
best
Did
thing.
Steven's
It was
group, they
scripted.
technically
Of
won,
course it
but
is. Yeah,
but
yeah, it was
weren't they
scripted.
down like 800 to 300? Was their
It was
point?
it was a lot.
It
And I
wasn't
think the
looking
teams
good.
were a little
They had like
lopsided
70. They had 70 when the enemy team completed it.
too.
Yes.
Honestly, I think I guess it just depends on the amount of people that you have.
Hey, Darkman. You guys want to read Darkman's comment?
Yeah. Oh, I missed the cooldown. I was thinking one person could just spam turn in 20 minutes. After Steven turned it in, it didn't look like he could turn it in again, or that it just wasn't implemented yet. So what I'm saying is that one person's limited on the amount of tough stuff you can turn in.
It says node progress and it has a 24-hour cooldown.
Yeah. So
I don't know what that cooldown. Yeah. So node and then node progress 0 of 1. So,
but back to the grouping and stuff. Like, I mean, if you have 100 people, just what did they have? I think it was 40v40 is what they said there was.
It was like 35 versus 35. They didn't have full 40-man groups, either one of them.
Yeah, one of them was, I think the defending team was definitely less. When they all lined them up at the very end, I was like, oh, okay.
But I think there's something to be said to have like 1 or 2 dedicated groups going around, like gathering some of the materials and stuff, but then having like your one main Zerg ball running around.
Yeah, just hitting all the camps.
Well, Steven
so
had
you
mentioned...
You have your 2 groups that you have set that are good by themselves to go out and gather things on their own in your area next to your, like near your spawn. And then you take your Zerg ball and you run it in towards their locations and try and steal stuff.
Yeah, the gathering groups will be the scouts.
Yeah, he suggested that the Rangers would be a good, good for those.
I think scouts should be completely separate from those like 3 groups that I said.
They should be, but
I think so too.
Yeah,
I'd
who
like
knows
to
how
see...
organized people will be.
Well, some guilds will be more organized than others.
I mean, if you have 2 groups set in your area gathering stuff, you can take your Zerg ball and move it around where it needs to go, so that you can have scouts posted somewhere to see where their Zerg ball is and have yours moved to intercept.
I mean, intel is going to be paramount. They got to have somebody doing intel to find out, when there's a group that's headed back with all those resources, if you can intercept those guys and take them out, that's big. That's going to
be
turn
a lot
the
of
tide.
rogues and rangers doing that probably.
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. Now, what did you think about? First of all, let's get into when they actually started the combat. When they started fighting, there were a few observations that I know Paranot and I had. One, let's talk about how it did seem to be. Now, we have to take this with a grain of salt because there's no rogues. There's no summoners, which will probably add some melee type of units in there. And there was no bard, which is probably going to be at some sort, doing his inspiration with melee also. So that's a few classes that weren't really in there doing melee. Did it seem very range heavy to you in this particular stream?
So it seemed like there was a lot of like hesitation on both sides. So the range were sitting there able to freely poke because the melee were hesitant to engage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was more due to uncoordination rather than just being ranged heavy. Because I mean, every time we saw switching over the Dread, he was up and in there and just slaughtering. Ranged.
Vertec was in there quite a bit too.
Oh yeah, Vertec, yeah.
By the way, shout out
So
to the Golden Feather Tavern, Vertec and Chibi.
I think a lot of our PI folks are hesitant in PvP combat to actually engage.
Yeah, they should have grown some cojones and just got in there. You know, when I first watched it, exactly, Peon, and when I first watched it, I was like, oh, this is just all range. Range is OP, Ranger's mage, and I was just like, this can't be right. You know, it's just going to be a Zerg ball going around and stuff like that. And the second time I watched it, I really slowed it down, and fighters were just deleting people. Like especially in like the 1v2 or just 1v1 setting, just I mean massacring people, and they weren't getting away either. I mean, they were charging across, easily closing the gap. So that made me very happy to see. And watching Dread was the best part of the whole video.
Yeah,
he was
he's
just
pretty
so
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty
Talking
good.
to some of the PIs that they were saying that the Ranger and the Mage could get away from the fighter if they manage their cooldowns.
We saw that in
properly.
a few instances.
Exactly.
Yeah. So catching somebody off guard as a fighter is probably
You want to get them after they've used their blink, because I'm sure that blink has
Yeah.
about a 30-second cooldown. I think that's probably for the mage the only getaway that they have. And Dark Mint was saying that Dread and Social Media Man were going in quite a bit. So definitely concur with that.
But doesn't it make you guys so happy? As like that makes the mechanics so important. You know, the cooldowns. It's the risk versus
when
reward.
you use them.
It's not just a hack and slash, get in there. You know, you're just going crazy. It's going to be more dependent on your abilities, which made me so happy. I was like,
face smashing a few buttons or something like that.
Yeah,
is when you use your skills.
Keyboard.
There's going to be a huge skill ceiling. For this game.
Which
it's going to be all around
happy.
Ability management and mana management.
I thought it was going to be more spec. Oh, sorry to cut you off, Gree. But more spec related, not just ability. Now we know it's huge on ability too. So yeah, sorry to go ahead, cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, you got it.
I was just like, yes.
So you guys are thinking it's going to be very huge. Did we see a stamina bar? I don't remember. There was no stamina bar
was
yet.
Not implemented.
Yeah,
not implemented. Yeah, so I don't think stamina is going to play a big role. Like what we were talking about before, like I want Soul Mask, I want Dark Souls, Elden Ring level stamina management, you know, to like 4 abilities, and hopefully they're tied in. But we haven't seen it, so yeah.
The dodge roll does not have any iframes. You can still take damage while in your dodge roll.
That's fine. Yeah.
It gives you a quick, think of it like a dash, essentially. Like you have that quick burst of speed to get out of whatever you're in. And then you have your sprint, which also uses stamina, and then your active block, which uses stamina. The bar itself hasn't been implemented, but I think, honestly, the active block is probably what's going to be used by most people over anything else.
One of the things that discouraged me a little bit as far as the fighting, and this might just be a me thing, I'm not really much of an immersion guy, but if there's one thing in an MMO that breaks my immersion, it's watching some fucker bunny hop. Okay, and I was watching Koenig bunny hop all day long.
That's a ranger like thing. That seems to be, yeah, it's a ranger.
That shit just drives me nuts. I mean, I don't get it, and I don't know if stamina bar if jumping will take away some of that stamina, which I think it should. But do you guys like bunny hopping? I mean, it's not a
standard jumping.
It's not a shooter. It's not a shooter. You shouldn't be. If you're in plate or anything else, you shouldn't be fucking hopping. Okay, it's just it just doesn't make sense to me.
So you're basically telling the enemy to stay still and let me kill you.
Use your dodge roll, use other stuff, but bunny hopping is just stupid. I mean, show me when in a battle anyone's ever jumped in a fucking real battle. I mean, you just don't see it. I mean, maybe it's the military in me, but it just drives me nuts.
You want to be, you want to be active. You want to be moving. You want to be dodging abilities, and that's
Krurian, I know he's young. He's a young scrub. I know he's a bunny hopper at heart.
I mean, it's what you want to do, especially as a ranger, because the abilities are fluid. They're action based. So yeah, you want to dodge the AoEs.
My bunny hopping came from ESO, and it definitely translated over to almost every other game that I play. And the reason for that is that I found in a lot of games, AoEs are bound on a plane that's on the ground when it's cast. And when you're jumping, you jump over that plane. And so you don't get hit by AoEs.
You get like a second of it, and
and that's
if they happen to hit you.
huge.
Yeah.
That's huge in a game action combat MMO like ESO. When somebody drops their ultimate, that's a big AoE in front of you.
But this is not a full action combat
you don't get
game.
hit.
It's not full, but it's close. It's like it's kind of what.
So are they really
BDO.
avoiding anything? If they might be avoiding some stuff, but are they really if they're shooting a snipe at you, whether you jump or not, you're fucked.
Oh, snipe.
So
gonna hit you either way. But the AoE ground stuff, I don't know. It depends on the ability.
I don't know.
And then in WoW, the class I played, every time you double jumped, I had the dragon, so it'd snap its wings out, and I would get a burst of speed and glide forward.
Oh,
so that was so I had increased mobility that way. But then in ESO with the whole AoEs and everything like that, so it kind of I do it in every game. You see me do it in Smite all the time.
I don't know, Dark Mitten. What do you think about bunny hopping? Are you a bunny hopper at heart? I mean, or anyone else that's happened in chat? Do you guys like bunny hopping? I think it's just a me thing. I'm an old school gamer. Yeah, it's
to me a first-person shooter thing too.
Yeah, to me it brings first-person shooter thing, and I don't like that. I mean, I like first-person shooters, but this is an MMO, so yeah, just saying. So there's my 2 cents. Intrepid, get rid of making more bunny hopping is not a thing, please. Thank you.
Now, Keon, I got to ask you a question. Are you a strafer? If you're not going to jump, do you like juke back and forth? Are you like one of
Show is canceled, Dark Mitten. Get out of here.
I'm scared to admit, but yes, I'm bunny hopping. Yeah.
Show's canceled.
A lot of us are,
I have reasons behind mine at least.
And in Smite, it's how I line up abilities. Like you learn to like line up abilities to like have perfect accuracy.
In Smite, you
like
turn faster for skill shots while jumping.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's.
But again, that's action combat. That's real. Real action gameplay. This is not supposed to be like that. But anyway, you were saying, Perry, you had a hybrid, but it's a lot more tab than it is action. If we
actually,
I wouldn't say half and half.
A lot of the fighters played in complete action combat rather than tab at all.
Yeah,
it was more fluid that way. And I was also talking to some of the clerics when they were playing like the battle cleric style that was up front and personal using AoE heals. It was more fluid to be more action than tab target as a healer in the melee combat. So it sounds like a lot of melee folks are going to be more action based over tab. It completely depends on what you prefer, but also what's more fluid for what you're trying to do.
Listening in on that PI thing afterwards in your channel when we were doing that stream, a lot of them did say that you used a little bit of both. Yeah. Like they were just kind of like interchanging a lot of both. Now some of them, I think Chibi was saying on her things last night,
she's used like 100% tab.
A tab, yeah, just old school, just tabbing, for healing. And I was like, okay, But,
our bingo card we didn't see Steven clicking. Did anyone see Steven clicking?
I wasn't paying attention.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me.
He's on his dragon most of the time anyway. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, Cree.
Oh no, I didn't see him using it at all. I wasn't able to pay too much attention to the stream itself, to be honest. I kind of had it running in the background.
Darkmin says, I play some COD and we'll drop shot dive. If it means gathering an advantage. So if the bunny hopping gives an advantage, then you are just playing it wrong. Yeah, it just depends. Yeah, if it's a true mechanic and if it's actually beneficial, it gets you that extra advantage to reach somebody, a target, got to use it.
Yeah.
Same thing like I said in ESO. If I can dodge your ultimate by pressing the space bar, I'm doing it. Sorry.
Well, that's the thing.
People will learn.
And that was the problem, I think, with the new world. They had those iframes in there, and it was just abused. So it was abused.
That wasn't from jumping.
No, that was from rolling. That was from rolling. And now we don't iframes won't be in the dodge roll in Ashes of Creation.
There's zero
So,
iframes, right? In this
yeah.
game?
Yeah,
In
there's
this
0.
game, yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
which is good because in
Good.
New World they
Yeah.
were abused like a motherfucker. So it was really annoying. But yeah, other
Usually
than
a
that,
developmental thing.
yeah, development process. I like action combat, and I like the whole hybrid thing. I'm cool with that because especially like the I'm brain farting. I forgot the ability, the one where the fighter, not where he goes in a straight line, but where he jumps. It was a no, it wasn't cataclysm. It
You
was
talking about the leap?
the leap, yeah, basically the
Yeah.
big barbarian leap. That it's pretty much from Arcage, which they used to call behind the enemy lines. Pretty much the exact same thing. I love that ability. That's pretty much an on-the-go action ability. So is
Mhm.
the blitz. So those are really good. The whirlwind obviously is an action. You're moving around with that one. There's a lot in the fighter's kit. I was happy with every class that I saw, especially the tank. I didn't see a lot of people getting pulled though. Did you see a lot of javelin pulling?
I did not.
There were a few chains, and there's actually PIs were saying that people were like a good tactic that they were trying to use was using the chain pull and then dropping the wall because
Yeah,
the wall was also
yeah.
a stun.
Just
Yeah.
talking about that. Yeah.
We were just talking
They
about
also said that you can stack the walls on top of each other.
Ooh.
Were you saying okay, so you just said stun, so the wall would break the chain and immediately stun the target? Is that what you're saying?
Well, so they would use a chain to pull them in
Yeah, I
and
thought
then
that's a stun
drop
in
the
itself.
wall.
Yeah.
And then if you drop the wall, it in that cone again or the square. Apparently,
Oh,
it
the
stunned them.
telegraph stuns? I didn't know that
I
the wall
guess, yeah.
stuns. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
But there's different morphs in the wall.
Mm.
Do you know where those
Um,
walls are going to be huge? In like the Tower of Carfen, in those dungeons, in those small corridors. They are going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And like there was different morphs to the wall, so I think one of them stuns. I know that one of them's translucent, so
Mhm.
your allies can cast through it,
Mm.
but the enemies can't. And the wall completely breaks LOS for the enemies and stuff, so the enemy healers can't heal through it.
That's that's
The wall's going to be
huge.
huge.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Vertec again. He was out there doing he was working,
Mm-hmm.
and he did a really good job. He was taking a lot of abuse, and that's the kind of abuse that I expect to see a tank taking. I don't expect to see a healer taking that kind of abuse unless he's being protected by a tank. And then I could see, the healer be. I want to see those two working together in tandem. Some tanks cannot get out there and pull, but I definitely feel that that the healers should need the tanks in big battles to protect them and to make them more powerful. Because if you have a guard from a good tank on top of a healer, man, that's going to be a tough combo to break. And that's what I want to see. I want to see
dedicated
people.
healers and tanks are going to be a thing.
I want to see us need each other, and that's what I initially thought we were going to see in this game was that we will need each other. DPS needs the tanks to keep the mobs off them, and same with the healers. They need to keep the mobs off them. The healers need to be able to heal. They need to be able to stay clean so they can do their healing, and then the DPS can go out there and kill shit. That's the way I'm hoping to see this play out. That's my hopes. What do you guys think? What say you?
Going in, we already can see, like, I think you guys pulled up the video earlier. The tank was sitting there on the front line being pocketed by a healer, dropping the Aegis and just absorbing everything for everybody.
But
like that big blue dome is an Aegis that mitigates and redirects damage to the tank.
But the group that has, hey, how you doing, Oracle? Lokar, Dabu. The group that keeps a tank back by their healer with guard on them is gonna be big. If they just don't send all their tanks in, to pull. If they actually have somebody, and not only that, but guarding them, and then he can wall the enemies off, so then they got nowhere to go, and they'll die. So because they're gonna, inevitably there's gonna be flankers, right? You're gonna have rogues and stuff like that are coming up trying to take out those healers. So if you're smart, you're gonna have. That's kind of like where if I choose to be a tank, I want to be protecting our healer. I know if that healer stays alive, we're going to be a lot damn harder to beat. That's just my 2 cents. What say you guys?
I I want Para not to talk, but I do think that
No, you're good.
uh, clerics that are going more of like the tanky battle cleric is going to be a lot more of your better healers than somebody sitting in the back line using tap target.
What, just more survivability or what?
More survivability, AoEs are healing, hitting more people, healing more. I think your healing numbers are going to be a lot higher from the ones that are going to be up front and center rather than the
Mhm.
ones sitting in the back. The ones
Well, I
sitting in
mean-
the back will be able to keep people like a single person up better, but for like sustaining everybody up, I think that one up in front is going to be a little bit more important.
Real quick, I agree with Oracle. I believe that orcs should have their own language.
This was the thing we talked about really early on. Just like in WoW, you had your own race language, and you can kind of like talk like secret bullshit about people in your group or something. That's like
How long
he's
has the
stepping
word
fire.
Kek been around? Kek. That's like everybody
I
knows
could-
what that means. But
I want a race languages. I want it so badly.
But I'm curious
yeah.
as to what Cree just said something there, and I want to talk about that. He was thinking about the battle cleric, which is like probably chainmail or something like that, a little heavier
Yeah.
armor.
Yeah,
But
Chibi and
what
Bergen
about
were two different ones.
what if they're going to be the real good healers? Then what's your benefit for wearing light armor? Where's your benefit? More mobility? Or I mean,
it looked like that the people wearing light armor had better mana sustain.
and that would make sense. And I
mana
would like to
regen,
see that.
Keep
Yeah.
people up front.
And I don't know if they've touched that yet. I don't think any of the
Mhm.
armor has any kind of negatives or anything like that or positives yet. I don't think they have that worked in yet.
I say, but
yeah.
talking to some of the PIs, I found out that armor, like you said, you can put it on anybody, but Phantom was using medium armor on his cleric.
Vertec was
And
using
had-
medium armor too, I think, a combo.
Exactly, yeah.
he was
tank,
using
yeah.
he was using a mix of medium and heavy as his tank.
Oh, okay.
So the question is, if they were using mixed armor, why were they doing that? What was it? What bonuses or negatives was it? It must have been giving them something. Otherwise, they all would have just gone plate, right?
You would think, but they seem to be doing that way. It seemed that the people were using cloth, at least through the video and stuff, that didn't have as much mana problems as switching over to somebody that was using a heavier set.
Mhm.
But you're trading off sustain for defense.
It
That
was
might be
hard
what it
to
is.
see that too because they were switching around to point of view so many times.
Mhm.
We really couldn't see, like in a lot of the fights that we saw. I was looking at the whole raid, and a lot of them had a lot of mana, so it didn't look like there was much mana issues from what I could see.
Like Planadorf was constantly out of mana. He was always doing the channeling ability,
Mhm.
sitting down.
Yeah.
And also, like,
But
the-
was that
the
a bug
that-
like he was talking
yeah,
about?
the
Was that
bug he
why?
was saying, yeah.
So
But-
I
yeah.
do, talking to the PIs, they said mana management is incredibly difficult, and
Okay.
that everyone, even fighters, were running out of mana constantly.
which is
Good.
all the more importance for when we do get the bard in there, because that's going to be the
Mhm.
bard's main role is to get. I am super duper excited to see the bard. I could totally see switching over and playing that class because
Mhm.
that one really excites me. But his main key role, other than giving some really important timing of the buffs that he can give, is the mana. That's going to be his big role.
So I think during the stream, I think I made a comment over the Paranot, something about being able to kill a cleric is when they go because of that reason.
See, I don't want to
with
see.
the-
I don't want to see that.
But
There's-
so even with the cleric's mana sustaining ability, the blessed weapon, they were still running out of mana.
But how
very
fast were they running out? And let's break that
Chibi
down
was
into
complaining about it because Bergen went a different, like, Chibi went full regen.
in a group scenario, right? In a group scenario, right?
This is a group scenario, so they're
Right.
healing
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
There you go,
They were
Oracle. I agree.
complaining about running out of mana.
Because it's probably that big. What is the big? Anyone remember what their big heal? The one where they go "Roar," and slap their hands together. Was that like a 30-second cooldown? Which one is that one?
Was it benediction? I think.
I forget what
I
it's
don't
called,
know.
but that one's probably a mana
The longer
hog.
you channel it, the more it heals.
Yeah, and that one's probably a
Yeah.
big mana hog. But that's good that they should, because that's good that they're taking up a lot of mana right now, and Chippy is complaining about it because they don't have the bard right now, and they will. So we have to factor that in. So before they go making any adjustments to the fixing those,
Exactly.
let's wait to see how good the bard is in tandem with that, because that's going to be a huge. Well, you saw in my video on YouTube that I posted at the end of the video says Steven saying, pretty much every group is going to need a bard, and no other words than that. Every group is going to need a bard. So bring your bard. I mean, if you're bringing 8 people, if you have an 8-man group and you're running a dungeon, why not bring a bard? Hell, bring 2 of them.
Support. Yeah.
What other classes are you going to want to roll with? Tell me your group composition right now. Your perfect group composition.
Perfect group composition for an 8-man group. 1 tank, 2 healers, a support class. The rest are DPS.
Now, what about an off tank?
If it's a dungeon, you don't need an off tank.
Why?
Why would you?
Because there might be 2 bosses, 2 really tough bosses that you need to take on at the same time. And you need to have an off tank.
That's a very specific, thing.
I would say,
take a fighter,
have your fighter go do it. And
I think a fighter tank would be good for that, having your off tank.
Have your heaviest fighter DPS.
A lot of dungeon mechanics that requires an off tank means that the second thing you have to tank usually does less damage than the main one. So allowing, like, some of them a healer tanks
or something. Yeah.
So I would say take your fighter that's in your group, because I'm assuming you're going to have one out of your 4 DPS.
I hope so.
Have them go tank it, and then send one of your 2 healers to go dedicate healing that one dude. If that one healer can heal that one dude, you're perfectly fine, as long as your other healer is good enough to heal the rest.
Do you think that people are going to bring rogue just because of the loot mechanic? Or you think they...
just DPS, I think, too.
But if you had a choice between ranger and mage, let's assume that rogue... But we know this is not true, but let's assume for a minute that rogue didn't have any bonuses to finding extra loot. Would you still bring them over a ranger or a mage?
It would completely depend on the dungeon I'm doing, what loot tables there are. Are there any traps that I need to detect? Are there any secret paths that we can go on that make it easier or quicker? And then how much damage does the rogue do compared to a different class?
I think how close he's going to do.
Personal ability, too. You're going to pick the best players, too, since it's going to be more skill-based. So,
because if the rogue gives you like a 5% chance to get another piece of loot, that's cool, but why am I doing the dungeon?
I mean, we all know that there's, the rogues are going to do a lot of damage, and we all know that it's very important to Steven that the rogues are not the kid left out, that they're going to have some kind of utility that a group's going to want. So that does excite me.
Keep in mind, rogues are always known to do burst damage, not consistent damage.
Watching this video, watching this video makes me foam at the mouth, because all the healers that got spread out, Planadorf in particular, was alone. It's just waiting for a rogue to backstab him. I was just like, oh, that back line was just. I was like,
those people
in there to stab.
And that brings me up to that other comment, other comment, which we've talked about before, is that do you think if they're sitting, and I don't think it's ever been addressed, and I'd love to find out, if they're sitting and they get caught and they get hit, if that should be an automatic critical hit? I think it should be.
I mean, maybe if they're sitting down,
yeah,
sure, get a critical hit.
I mean, if you're sitting down, then you're not prepared to fight. So
maybe there's mid-casting stuff too, like a bonus to rogues, while a caster is casting, he has a little bit more bonus damage while the caster's casting. Who knows?
Perry, what do you think about Oracle's question?
What do I think about
having more tanks and healers than any other classes is a problem. Speaking of how there's only 1 tank class and 1 healing class, it's bound to happen, because there's never really anybody to spread out and do different things. But it also depends on what's going on, because if you're in a raid, you only need a certain amount of tanks and a certain amount of healers.
And you could hire DPS. DPS in any game has always been the most played.
That's been the most played, yeah, for sure. You can always find those.
I was going to say, you're going to see a lot of tanks and a lot of healers, because there's only a tank and a cleric for your healer. That's it.
Now, here's some speculation. What do you think? Now, we know what the rogue's going to bring to the table as far as the group, all right? We know what the bard's going to bring to the table as far as the group. What do you think is going to be the summoner's reason
A Phil.
for us to have him in our group?
Strictly hybrid Phil. Yeah.
A Phil. Yeah.
Do you think that's going to, if we have everything else, do you think we're going to be calling a summoner theme, or are they going to be the fat kid left out?
I don't know. Because so summoner also brings their own type of stuff to the table. If you have a summoner DPS that's in your group, they can change over to their summon tank mob, and then there's your off tank.
So maybe if
Exactly,
somebody
yeah.
dies, maybe the cleric dies, they can switch to their healer form or something like that.
Yeah.
And
They are the shaman of, the game. A true
They're
healer,
interesting.
true tank, true whatever. They could probably just do everything. Maybe.
They have the ability to do everything depending on how
Yeah.
they spec. So
now, when
We
you were
shall see.
talking to the PI, did they specifically say that they weren't allowed to target the dragon because that dragon
Yes.
stayed an awful long time?
Yeah.
they were okay. So there were two things that were said about the dragons: that neither side were allowed to target the person on the dragon itself.
Okay.
And the second one is when somebody left the dragon, nobody was allowed to steal the dragon.
I wonder how many hit points that dragon had.
I think it's the hit point of the person riding it, not the dragon itself. Because
Oh, wow.
remember, you can
Hmm.
steal the dragon.
So
Mounts can
in
be stolen.
theory, if we have 5 rangers, we should be able to snipe the dragon and kill it.
Probably.
if they're within range.
Interesting. Oracle says
Yeah.
that is the major problem Nexus is facing, but I see it more as a selling point for recruitment. Yeah, the dragon in one
I
of
think
my
he's
other
talking about
questions.
the classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I was asking Perry was, can the tanks, and we don't, maybe I have to ask Vertec, can the tank use their javelin to pull the rider off the dragon?
Let me
And
some
if
God of War
not,
stuff.
you should be
You
able
know?
to, right?
That and what's it called? Should the channelers? We didn't see the channelers get CC'd. Talking kind of going in a little bit direction towards the node objectives. Do you just have to straight kill them, or I mean, you'd think it'd be really easy just to CC them off the channel and break their channel, but it didn't seem that way.
I loved watching Vertec and Chippy. They were rocking it. They were really
Yeah, they
rocking
were.
Oh, yeah.
it. It was so much fun. And I haven't had a chance to really talk to them because we were so busy yesterday. Ranger traps should trap dragons. I'm not sold on those ranger traps. They look really cool and they're really big, but
Bear
did
traps,
they really
yeah.
work? I mean, I saw
They
somebody
would have to be
slide
invisible.
through them. They literally slid through it and it didn't even go off. So,
Yeah, they're a little wonky looking.
yeah.
They would have to possibly be invisible, or I know that fighters, they have that momentum like dash ability that makes it to where they're immune
Mm-hmm.
to any snares
Yeah.
or anything like that. That's probably why the trap didn't do
Dark
anything.
Mitten's right. They are the size. I mean, they are the size for a dragon. They look like a trap in Ark. They're this really big trap for a dinosaur.
They were making
But-
fun of that. Yeah, you should see the dragon, or they were making fun of that before in the pre-show, the Ashes of Creation watch party or whatever. How big are the bears? If the
Yeah.
bear trap is gigantic, how
Oh.
big the bear.
Well,
I'm telling you, that bear trap will snap somebody in half if that thing went off.
Exactly.
You were Alpha 1, right, Cree?
Nope.
Oh, okay. They in Alpha 1 they had we were in there and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna summon some bears. We want to see how the lag is and
Oh,
stuff
the
like
bear
that."
storm.
Oh, the bear
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
So he's like, "I'm gonna go summon 500 bears," and then
Added
all
an
of a
extra zero.
sudden 5,000 bears spawned in. And credit to them and their team. We were still actually able to move, albeit a little bit, but it didn't blow things up. We were actually
Didn't
still
crash
able
the
to move.
server.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was impressive. I mean, I gotta hand it to them. It was pretty impressive. And Oracle says they need mage casting ball lighting through the gap. What did you think about, as far as the mage, what did you think? It looks like that they toned down the abilities a little bit overall, but is it
Did
still
you-
too much?
Did you guys notice that there were very few ball lightnings actually used?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there were. I did see a few, but not many.
That was good. That was one of the everyone's worry.
Do you think
all
they
you would see
told
are
them
lightning balls?
Not to
So-
use too many?
No,
Or the
I think it
cooldown.
was. I think it was because they figured out a build that was more effective than the ball lightning. Because
Ah.
talking to DA and Yokai, tanks pulling people in and dropping a wall, sectioning people off with having a mage blinking in and doing a blizzard bomb did a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Do the mages have a point blank area of attack ability yet? Where
That's-
they not the wall, not the blizzard, but like where they cast like in Dark Age of Camelot there was an ability where they did like where the enchanters would just cast it and a big bubble around them just would explode and just they could just keep doing it over and over to the and kind of like WoW had something similar
like
like
the
that.
arcane blast thing.
Kind of, yeah. Where there's a point blank area of attack where you could just go to town. If anybody in that area is gonna get hammered.
I think that's what the blizzard ability is.
I'd like to see
I'm
something.
literally watching a thing of it right now, and it's doing massive damage, and it lasts a long
You saw
time.
the mage blink in and drop it.
I'd like to see another version of that ability, but in a different.
There could be a fire
effect.
one. There could be a all.
It depends
all
on
the
the
elements.
augment, maybe.
Yeah.
Even a poison cloud or something like that would be kind of cool. Dark Mitten says like a caravan repulse. Yeah, kind of like that. Something like that. But yeah, in Dark Age of Camelot, they would literally like run in there and just if they were being healed, they could wipe out an entire raid by themselves. And you'd see all this death spam. Killed by. Holy shit.
Some guys in Dunehold started downloading Dark Age of Camelot. They were playing it. And I was watching them play it, and I was like, wow, this shit is nuts looking.
If they played that, you were talking about maybe going to Albion or something like that.
Just to try it out, just to see, because a lot of people were talking about, or the Blacksails guys were talking about the mechanics of it. And I was like, oh.
Dark Age of Camelot is one of those games where it takes a little while to get to build up your character. So I don't know if before we got it Alpha 2 if it would be worth it, but I would definitely. I'm definitely thinking about maybe trying an MMO somewhere, maybe going back to Albion Online or something like that. Maybe roll it with light. No, I want hardcore PvP,
free.
and because the Blacksails interview that I had got me really thinking about PvP, and they were right because when I played Albion Online, you really needed to be on top of your shit playing and we want to do that. I know Overlord wants to be very dedicated with their PvP, and I need to brush up on my PvP skills myself. It's been a while since I've had a game like that, so I want to be up on top of my skills.
True.
Come play ESO with me. I'll put you in boot camp.
I don't like ESO. There's something about it.
Me either.
I wasn't digging it.
I'm kind of curious how my PvP skills. It's been a while, and this watching this video gives me like Alterac Valley vibes, like crazy. Just getting the objectives, trying to get to the certain areas and stuff like that. With a little bit of what was that? What was the other one? Not Alterac Valley. The one.
Warsong Gulch?
No, the one in
Arathi
between.
Basin?
I love the
Basin.
Warsong
So
Gulch.
it was a little bit of Arathi and Warsong, I can't speak.
Alterac Valley.
Alterac Valley. Yes, thank you.
I love
It was
Warsong
very
Gulch.
similar to Eye of the Storm.
Actually, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the mix of them, the true mix of them, which is great. Controlling the towers,
Grabbing the flag, taking him to
grabbing
the
the
towers.
flag. Yeah, it's just objectives based. So
Mhm.
they looked fluid though. Gosh,
Back-
it looked fluid.
Back to
Smooth.
the dragons. Did you guys think that the dragons were too overpowered? I didn't. I thought that they, because especially since we didn't get a chance to see them killed, I thought that their abilities were pretty strong, and if they're used properly, I think they could be very useful. So, and like you said, having that mayor with you is going to be really important too.
DA and Yokai both said that the dragons were extremely strong. Their cooldowns were long enough to where it wasn't like oppressing.
Looked like it was
but
30
it-
seconds.
It was 45.
Was it 45? Okay.
Yeah. But I know what they said was that if you were fighting somebody with a dragon and you didn't have your own, it would be rough.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, the person flying the dragon is also the mayor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
the mayor's
yeah.
not going to be like rushing the front lines and stuff too, like in the real game. So
Except now in castle fights and stuff like that, they're going to be able to offer undermounts to some of the officers, so there'll be more than one.
Oh, that's right. Talking about I was saying, maybe have a whole bunch of people with rams and do like ram charge, knockbacks and stuff like that into the enemy team, things like that.
The ground animals have abilities too.
We
Yeah, the
need to
ground, they were talking about that at
confirm
the end.
if the dragon has the same health as the rider, if that's true or not.
It makes
Or-
sense.
Oracle says, I saw some guildmates with just 3 people, 1v20 in ESO. If that were any indication, I think one of them was a healer. Oh God, that's a little ridiculous. 1v20.
Actually,
Come
there
on.
there are some videos of my group on YouTube. I'll send it after the stream. I'll send them to you guys.
See, I
But
don't.
we did that.
If people talk,
Mhm.
I didn't play ESO, but from that comment alone, that makes me think that PvP is not real PvP. And then I don't count New World PvP is real PvP either.
The tanks are nuts in
ESO
ESO too. So
ESO is big on group coordination. If your group is extremely coordinated, you can take down Zergs of 100 to 200 people with your 10 to 15 people.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey,
welcome
Co-Star
to my
TV, thank you for the
underground
follow.
lair.
Welcome to the channel, my friend. Oh, my alerts aren't showing.
Also
Wonder
keep
why.
in mind that ESO has abilities, like there is an ability called proximity detonation. You would put it on yourself, and everything that it hit, the more targets that you hit, the more damage that it would do.
oh wow,
So
big.
for like every target you had, it did 25% increased damage. So there were ways for small groups to deal with massive ones as long as they were coordinated.
Fix that
Yeah,
alert
just put a
box
ton
there.
of shields on them, a ton of and then send them in.
Party Parrot. How you doing, my
Well,
friend?
so
Welcome
what
to
they
the
would
channel.
do is that you would have like even the healers ran it. So you would have everybody pop their proxy jets at the same time, so they would explode at the same time. You would run in and pop some defensive ultis while you had your bombers, that's what you call them, do the big AoE damage ultis and stun them, and then have your proxy jets go off. And then there was a gear set called Vicious Death. And whenever you killed somebody, it caused a chain reaction of flame damage,
Mhm.
and that could proc it again and again. So as long as you kill one person, it would just spread like wildfire.
Yeah,
Mm.
Oracle says that Co-Star, are you still? Oh, the hardcore WoW. I never tried hardcore WoW. Did you guys try hardcore WoW at all?
No, I was doing other
I
stuff.
almost thought about it, but I'm all petered out of WoW. I feel like they're just
too.
trying anything right now to keep that game alive, and I don't want to get involved in it.
I got
I
level
love-
40
yeah.
in it, but I stopped playing it.
Yeah, I love hardcore stuff. I love the idea of just that rush when you almost
Oh,
die.
yeah, yeah.
You know, you're just like, oh, I love it, especially in Diablo.
Now it
But,
looked like
yeah.
it looked like we saw that the channeling effects that they had for capturing that thing very similar to what they were in the castles when you had to channel the castle. So it looks like that's a mechanic that they're going to stick with. You guys like that mechanic? I like that mechanic. I mean, it kind of brought me a little New World-esque, get the guys off the flag, stuff like that, so we can channel it. But that's popular mechanic, so I have no problem with it.
It is. I think they're going to add more. I think we were talking about this before. I hope to see like just different stuff for the Node
Mhm.
Wars, like steal a caravan or steal like an animal or something that's like rare or something. Something a little bit more vibrant.
We know. Okay, so there was the God Spike.
Mhm.
There's that one. We know there's a capture the point thing. We know there's a King of the Hill thing.
Mhm.
And they're adding more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Which
we're
is
gonna
exciting.
have a variety.
and it even sounded like they were going to have some PVE oriented ones too for those PVEers out there.
Well, I would say that the one that they showcased was was PvE oriented. You had to
a
go
little
around
bit
killing
of
a lot stuff.
gathering, gathering and killing some stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and mutant blood and
while
mutant
being
material
guarded
to
by
kill
your
scholars.
PvP people.
Yeah.
For
Did y'all
sure.
ever play Warlords of Draenor?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. There is there's an open world PvP spot called Asheron, something like that. And the whole thing was like you would run around killing all the think similar to Object Valley, right? You would go do the PvE objectives to give yourself an edge. But then you can go turn in what you received to summon like your hero or whatever to go siege the enemy fortress.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was open world PvP, so anybody could jump in and join.
Hmm.
Now it looked to me, and I was
Creative.
talking to Paranot about this. It looked to me like Steven's group, how at least they won the part that they showed, that they weren't doing real good overall. It looked like, I don't know if they were dying far more or they were gathering more stuff. It was like 800 to 300 or something like that. One second, guys, let me cancel that ad break there. There we go. It looked like they were getting their butt kicked a little bit. Would you guys agree with that?
They were getting their butt kicked, and their win was definitely scripted.
Yeah. Oracle says the Node War feels like the WoW equivalent to the Battlegrounds. A little bit. Paranot had
Similar.
brought up earlier that he said it felt a little bit like Alterac Valley. Was that the one you were talking about?
Or Eye of the Storm. You
Eye
know,
of the
like
Storm.
he
Those
was
were all
really saying it.
Battlegrounds.
It was just.
So
So
what
I
other
do wanna
thoughts did you
go-
have?
Wanted to go back to when we were talking about the rogue and the clerics, right?
Okay. Class
Um,
talk. I love class talk.
Time
All
to
right,
kill.
Yeah.
let's dig in.
So not even time to kill. It was when I was talking about how I think that the frontline clerics are going to be more effective than the backline ones. And
So the
I
battle
think
clerics
whole-
you're talking about.
Yes, I think they're going to be more effective because you don't have to defend the battle cleric.
hmm
You don't have
You.
to.
That's
you don't
your
have
class.
To, exactly, but no. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is you don't have to.
Okay, so what?
have a tank sitting in the back line to protect the
Yeah, worrying
Well,
about
I mean,
classes
Yeah.
well,
and the
okay.
rogue.
What makes a battle cleric a battle cleric? It's his plate. Is that what you're saying? Is plate? That's all it's going to make him to differentiate a battle cleric from another cleric, or is he
There's-
having specific spells? Is he still a cleric?
His spells can do AOE damage too.
Yeah,
So AOE heals and damage.
Yeah,
If he
there
augments
was-
that way,
No, it wasn't
Or
an
just-
augment. That
just
was actually,
normal.
that was a talent.
but
was a
how?
talent.
But how much?
I couldn't tell you how much damage it did itself. But what I'm talking about is battle cleric. I'm just saying is what is a frontline cleric. It
So-
doesn't mean that they have to be in plate. It doesn't mean that they have to be like doing a certain ability set or something like that.
So are
It
you
is just
saying
a
that the
cleric
battle
that can-
cleric should be able to heal as well as another cleric who's not a battle cleric?
No, I think the people on cloth should heal more.
Okay,
Most definitely.
all right.
But what ended up happening was that your clerics that were back in cloth and stuff had less healing overall than the people that were playing battle clerics during this.
That was the
the-
Chibi and Bergen argument about how like there was no point to go regen, and it was
Yeah.
just better to go a frontline.
Hmm.
Because so talking to Phantom, he had over, I think he said it was like over 70k healing, while some of the other people that were clothy using tap target in the back only had 45, 50.
So they were able to. It brings me to another point. They were able to. All those guys were able to look at their stats after that whole thing to
Yes.
see how they matched up and
Mhm.
stuff. So that's good. I love that.
And
It's almost like a DPS meter, though, isn't it?
similar. I mean, you have your KDA,
Yeah.
and you can see how well you did. But
How many times did Steven die?
I don't know.
At least
I don't know.
twice.
3,000 health. He shouldn't have died at all.
At least twice, exactly. Of course, he was
Cheater!
standing. One time, he's
Cheater!
standing literally in the middle of the enemy team. There was no other teammate around.
Well,
and
keep
it's like
in
they all
mind
burned themselves.
they were not allowed to kill him while he was on the dragon.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
they got that. They got that. They weren't allowed to kill him when he was a dragon. And he's level 30 and 3,000 hit points. Steven, I want you in this channel right now to explain yourself on why that you needed to be different. I know you own the game and all, but come on. Come on, bro.
He said he wanted it to look cool. They
well,
said
he
there was, like, his
already
regen-
looks cool. He's a sandal lord. So
No, his gear. He wanted a cooler looking
So-
gear, and they're making
Oh,
fun of
okay,
him
all
for
right.
it. Yeah,
so
Roshan.
they were making fun of. They were doing some testing and they were making fun of him because he was in all gray gear while everyone else was in rare gear. So he spawned in legendary gear and refused to move down.
Yeah, exactly.
look,
Yeah,
at, look at Oracle's comment. Yes, Oracle, I
I
know.
know.
I screwed it up. Yes, I know.
But no, anyways, back to it. The battle cleric healed more
Dabu.
overall than the clothies. And the whole reason for that is you have your AoE heals. You're
Mhm.
healing more people rather than single target. The
Yeah.
single target will have its place. You will be there for the burst heals and people that really need it, like focusing a tank, for example, that's using Aegis.
It's more dungeon based.
Yeah, but keeping everyone alive from big AoE damage, like a mage bomb, for example, is all going to be the AoE heals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
if you have
AoE
5
heals
battle-
will be big. I mean, they're going to be big. I get what you're saying. I mean, battle mages will probably have a place too. And by the
Oh,
way, Oracle, I missed spelling class. I dropped out after learning how to cook a dwarf. So sorry about that.
Oh wow, Dwarf hate.
By the way,
Not
do you
in
want
this
to
channel?
do you want to give a little shout out to Dunehold there, Perry?
I will, of course I will. I was actually getting the links from my guild leader, and I got the okay to actually start like putting links into everything. So yeah, if you're looking for an all Duneer clan, check out Dunehold. Yeah, and I will put it in the stream afterwards, in the chat afterwards. But yeah, come on down and we will vet you. And yeah, it is good stuff.
Curry, do you want to give a plug out for Envious?
We're the biggest guild out there right now. That's all I have to say.
Isn't Ethereum now bigger?
There was a ton
I-
of
that's a
Ethereum
good
people.
question.
I think Ethereum might be bigger now.
There were so many Ethereum people in that chat.
Actually, I
I
think
was
you might be
shocked.
right. I think Ethereum might be a little bit bigger just because of the whole Heal Station drama moving over.
Okay. Yeah, I reached out to Ethereum and they said that they were going to do a show with me, but I haven't hammered down a date with them. I hope that they get back to me on that. And of course, guys, for everybody who doesn't know, I am an overlord. So if you're looking for a quality server first guild, come check out Peon and say hi. And give us a check out. You can come to my channel and my community channel, and I have the link for their Discord, so you can go check them out as well. What other thoughts did you guys have on the overall stream? And after that, what do you guys think about the upcoming announcement? Well, all right, let's break this down your total thoughts on the Node War stream, your thoughts on no announcements, and the fact that they said at the beginning of the stream that they weren't going to give any dates. And then the other topic would be, what do you think about next month's stream? That they just going to be more of a technical stream. So give me all your thoughts on all those topics.
I think overall the stream was amazing. We got a ton of information on PvP dynamic, objectives, everything. Overall, easily, like I said before, the best stream we've had so far
this year. Yeah.
And a little disappointed about the tech stuff, but this is a big stream. You know, if they're just trying to siphon everything out, or just little piece at a time. You know, not give us too much. So I definitely understand it. Yeah, great stuff.
Great.
Like I said earlier in the stream, I think that this stream was great. I love seeing all the gameplay and everything. As for the technical stream, we don't know what it is yet, so I'm not really gonna get my hopes up. But technical could be another crafting stream.
I hope.
I don't know if that's what I took away from it. I would think that would be awesome, but technical, I almost thought that they were going to go. Yeah, I thought they were going to go into some of the development stuff that they were, talking about.
Cool
what makes things. It's cool, not something I get, a semi for, but it. I'm sure some people will enjoy it. I was
the bingo card. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was disappointed that. Well, one, that they said that there was no date, so we knew that the Alpha 2 date was getting shot down right away. I've been waiting and waiting for them to announce the content creator program, which I'm a little disappointed that we didn't hear any mention of that. I'm hoping, which I guess is good in a way. It gives me another month to prove myself that I hope I have a chance to get in. But and for anybody else who's new, like Dark Mitten and stuff like that, so I guess it gives us one more month, but I was a little disappointed because I know that they said that they were going to announce that first and then the date. So kind of makes me think that we are definitely leaning towards the September Alpha 2. But they did say very soon, Steven said, Alpha 1 should be getting in there, which I'm Alpha 1, so that excites me. There you go, Darkman, did you apply to the content creator program real quick? And then Kree, go ahead with what you were saying.
So I know I wouldn't be surprised if we hear an announcement about something during the technical stream.
That I could see. I mean, they gotta put something out. I mean, why would you go all the way to Q3 and not have an announcement on when the month is? I mean, you're telling me they're gonna wait. Like, I know, what you're saying.
They're still deciding on the content creators and stuff like that.
I don't mean that. But I'm talking about the Alpha 2 date announcement.
Date?
I mean, don't tell me it's going to be in Q3 and then go through 2 months of Q3 and then say, oh yeah, in the third month we're having it in September, guys.
Yeah,
so
they're
going to
push
we know
it
it's in Q3, but the other problem is they may have to push it back for technical reasons, like they did with the first Alpha. And the other side of that also is that if they give a date, they are locked in.
No, but they could give a month. I mean, if they're that worried about it. Now, Steven did confirm again. Now, this was twofold. Steven confirmed again it is
And
still on
Margaret
track for
did
quarter
too.
three.
Mhm.
Margaret did, but I will say that I sensed a little bit of hesitation in Margaret's response. I will say that. So take that for whatever it's worth. If you go back and watch Margaret's response, see if you saw what I saw. I saw a little
She's a
bit of
little-
hesitation.
Yeah.
So, but either way, Stephen did reconfirm that, and that to me was a good sign. But look, if they just want to make it easy on themselves, put it for September 30th. Let us. I got shit to plan, man. Come on.
Yeah,
I
that's
got a
big.
whole summer. People,
Yeah.
you're hanging people out to dry because you can't give us any kind of a date. If you don't know, then put it for September 30th. That's all I ask. If you're not sure, maybe you have hopes to do it sooner, which would be great for everybody. But maybe we need to get Alpha 1 in, and maybe, he did say Alpha 1 to be in there soon. Maybe it would be good for Alpha 1 players to have a good chance to test it before all the Alpha 2 people got in. Let's give Alpha 1 people a little bit of love because they've been waiting a really long time to get in there. So let's give them a little bit of love. Let them get
It's coming out
their
during the
just
technical
due.
stream, so you're fine.
Yeah, I hope. Let's hope. But those are just my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think about that. I mean, that's a little bit of a tangent, but
They're pissed.
Every announcement that they've made have almost always been on a like non hyped up stream. Like no,
yeah,
like,
no, that's
I was
true.
not expecting anything today at all.
That's kind of what I thought too. Exactly when they said that it was a technical, that it will probably get some kind of announcement then.
I have a feeling that we will get a date along with the content creator official people.
That would be awesome.
back
Now,
to
did you
back.
both apply? And I think Query, and I think you applied, right?
Yeah, I applied back in November, I believe.
And Paradise, did you apply?
I have not. I need to get on that.
Well, that's okay because you could just hang out with me. Oracle says
man.
people have had kids in the time they've waited. I mentioned this on the stream last night. I said if they waited, if we waited longer, Margaret's baby might be old enough to play Ashes of Creation.
Yes,
So, I know that's a little bit of hyperbolic.
Maybe that's what they're waiting on.
Hey,
Exactly,
you know
yeah.
what? And by the way, I bet that's going to be as.
I played World of Warcraft when I was 3 years old when it came out. I'm just saying.
I bet Margaret's baby is going to be super, super cute. I'm so excited for her as being a parent. I'm happy that she's going to be a future
When
parent.
is she due?
She looks, I don't know, but she looks like she's getting ready to pop soon.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to her. I'm really, really happy for them. Intrepid, don't listen to me as far as my dates. The game, I want to be ready when it's ready, but I would like you to show some Alpha 1 a little bit of love. On behalf of all the Alpha 1 people out there, don't forget about us. We've been supporting you and hanging in there. Show us a little bit of love. But on that being said, I know that they also, PI paid a lot of money to be part of that test, so they want to give them their just due. And how long have they been in now? A good few months before everybody else. So I want to make sure that they had their time to really get in there and get some quality spot testing. And hearing Steven shout them out yesterday was pretty cool. He gave them a lot of props, and hopefully
He did.
Alpha 1, when we get in there, we can give him the same amount. Hopefully they have the same amount of trust in us to not say anything, and also that we can find a lot of shit to help them out as well. Oracle says, I think that she's due in October. Okay.
October, yeah.
I can't wait to finally get the content that I want to provide rolling in Alpha 2. Because a big thing that I do is, like, I mean, I have the game playing in the background, but I answer questions and I talk to people about the game. Like, my content will be making guides.
Yeah, I like guides too, tier classes, stuff like that. I'm big on leveling and speed running. What is the fastest way to get to a level? Because everybody wants to know that. How many diehard degenerates out there don't want to know? Who in this channel doesn't want to know the fastest way to level? I'm just saying. I mean, and we can all collaborate on that together for sure.
I'll have thousands of spreadsheets and stuff laid out to where, like, this certain route, as of this moment, unless it gets patched, will be the fastest way to level. I will have ways to figure out like what cleric like talent build will give you the most healing or damage or etc. based on what you're trying to do.
At least
And
with
that's
the
what I
current
enjoy.
build.
Yeah,
And-
like theory and crafting and everything like that is what I absolutely love.
Now, Oracle looks like he likes to take his time a little bit more, and that's cool. It's not for everybody. I can't help it, Oracle. I'm a degenerate, and I want my freehold, and I know that I have to be level
Ooh.
50 in order to get my freehold.
Pizza.
What's up? Pizza? Where?
Yeah, she's pizza.
Huh?
You can't see it, I guess.
Oh,
yeah, pizza.
fucker. Well, you know what? I had Portillo's tonight, so kiss my ass.
I'm gonna be showing everyone where all the best ore spots are, surveying wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be addicted to that. I'm gonna have ore guides, maybe even fishing guides too. We'll see how fishing is.
I'm going to show
So
people my
Oracle?
special furniture.
Oracle, I suck at making money in MMOs.
Uh-oh.
I'm terrible
Oh,
at
money guides are a whole nother thing. Yeah.
it. Oh yeah. I could sit there
Everything
and
from
go
the auction
on.
house to just vendoring, gathering,
Mhm.
everything.
I
Oh,
also
completely different beast.
I also will be making guides, not so much guides, but more. I'm gonna be trying to find some of the best PvPers. Maybe I'll just use the ones in my guild, but some quality PvPers and match them up against other quality classes. And we're gonna be doing different fights, whether it be solo, one-on-ones, and group fights to see how they match up against each other. I want to see which I know they said not all classes are going to be created equal, especially in one-on-ones. So I want to see which ones have a greater disparity than others in one-on-one fights. I think that's going to be very interesting for people.
I want to be
know.
a cleric killing machine.
I
I'm gonna
am
make a
very
guide.
interested in this death magic stuff.
Exactly. It's just gonna be spec against each other. It's just
This
like,
whole death magic thing that they talked about, I want to see that. That would give me a reason to want to play cleric. If I could have a class that legitimately could do damage as a healer, a lot of damage as a healer could be very fun. I have no problem against
Shadow
healers.
Priest.
I love healers. Oh, I love Shadow Priest. But as long as they don't make them the end all be all, I'm fine with that.
What do everything?
Yeah, I don't want to see it do everything. I want them to need
very specific.
somebody.
So yeah.
I want and that's because if a cleric doesn't need a tank, we know a tank needs a cleric. So if a cleric doesn't need a tank, then why? I mean, what's the point?
Well, it depends on the engagement, what's going on, and stuff like that. Cree, can you stop eating? I'm starving.
Yeah.
I ate steak and rice, and I'm still fucking. I'm just kidding. But eat.
But Cree talking about being a battle cleric.
Grease on your fingers.
So do you think that you should be able to? Cree, do you think you should? If Vertec wasn't there on that front line, do you think you should just be able to run in there and do whatever the fuck you want to do and stay alive as a battle cleric?
This video just proves that you can. It really does. Like Vertec, I mean, he got healed.
As like a frontline cleric, I would like to go up there and I would like to be able to hold my own, yes, but not to the disparaging of another class. Like the tank has its place.
Right.
I'm saying that a battle cleric could go up there and stand next to the tank.
Yeah, and use his Aegis or whatever that he has.
Yes.
And if you're able to heal and get his buffs protecting you, then yeah, you could be very formidable. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I mean.
Okay.
And it's not okay, I want to be a cleric that's using the medium heavy armor that is up there front and center with the tank, but I have the ability to dash around between the front and back line with my abilities if I need to do so. Like I can position myself where I need to be.
That makes sense.
At the time. The other reason I'm saying that is you're not going to have a rogue coming right up next to a tank to try and backstab the healer that's sitting right next to the tank. That's a good way to get yourself into a
Hey, Halo. I do not like Halo personally myself, Oracle. I think I told you my wife's in the Philippines right now, and unfortunately they are putting her father in the cemetery today, so she's actually probably doing that right now. So my thoughts are with her. But yeah, I'm not a Halo guy, but
what's Halo?
It's a Filipino dish, dessert.
Shaped. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's not my thing, but it's a Filipino dessert. But Go ahead, Pia or Pear.
I'm looking at like the end video where everyone's like the teams are standing together, and just how cool the fucking Vec look with their spiked hair
Yes,
going
they
back.
do look cool. Yeah.
They just, I was like,
I think they
oh
look ugly as hell.
gosh. Of course you do.
There's
But
not
it
too
just, yeah.
much there's not too much
Just
about
their
the
hair.
stream that I was unhappy about. I other than the disappointment of not hearing any dates and stuff like that. I thought that the actual stream, seeing the mass PvP, I have a lot of positive thoughts and things to say about the stream. I was, like you said, it was probably the best stream of the year. And you know what? The biggest thing that I did not see, and it was hard to tell because their stream was a little bit laggy. And I think somebody said it was because they kept switching things. But from what
Yeah,
I could
different
tell,
people's stuff, yeah.
when I was watching other people's streams, that there wasn't any lag. People were firing off their abilities without a hitch, and it looks like everything was moving real smoothly, and that is encouraging, very encouraging. And
So
it also
they had. Sorry,
Go ahead.
I don't mean to
No, go
interrupt,
ahead.
But they had 6 different tests that they did for this. All the PIs were only allowed to talk about the 6 tests that they did for this. At the beginning of each and every test, they had everybody stand together and just use every single big ability they possibly could to attempt to pelican crash the server. And it never happened. Which gives me hope for having bigger groups of people fighting.
Yeah. And well, we heard Steven say, I don't know at what point in the video that he said, but he said it's going to be very soon. He said Alpha 1 will be in there very soon. And we know that Alpha 1 is... Now, Steven, this does concern me a little bit. He has said numerous times, some Alpha 1 people, which is a little bit disturbing to me, because I think if people paid for the package, Alpha 1 package, they should be involved. I don't see how you can just have some and exclude the others. That I will say bothers me a little bit. And I'd like to know the reasoning for that, because that doesn't make sense to me. Does that make sense to you guys? If you paid for a package, you should be in that group of the some. Some should mean all Alpha 1 should be invited. I don't see why there would be a difference.
I think we'll get a lot of information. Information will definitely start steamrolling out. We're going to get a lot more information in the next couple.
I think it may be more just for some of the showcases that are coming up. Like if they're doing a showcase of a castle siege or a node siege, then they'll need a certain amount of people, and there's not enough PI or maybe not enough devs. So they will supplement that back with some A1 people. So if you check on your...
I guess, but I mean, that's brutal to leave a whole lot of people out. I mean, all right. I guess from what you're saying, I guess that makes sense. That they obviously, if they're trying to do a castle siege, they can't do 16,000 people. I get that. But as long as when they start inviting some Alpha 1 people, that they're all getting in. I can understand that they all won't be on the stream together, stuff like that. That I get.
What they may do is that they might have multiple sieges running, and so all the A1 people get to test those fights. That's the only thing you get to test.
Yeah.
Another thing that they might do is that, like, this one took six tries to get right.
Right.
For stream.
Oh wow.
They could, every time that they have to reset or something, they may switch people out.
I'm not an advocate of
multiple crashes and stuff like that. They said, yeah.
I'm just not an advocate of leaving a certain sect of people out. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I understand that not everybody's going to be able to be on the live stream and stuff like that. I get that. But when A1 testers are allowed in, I think that there should be stuff that they should be testing. That's just there should be something
being left out.
Oh yeah, don't leave the peon out. Don't leave the peon. You can leave everybody. I take back everything. You can let me in and forget everybody else. That's fine. Just let me in.
I thought I was bad. But damn,
no, I'm just. I wouldn't throw you under my bus like that. No, I'm an advocate for all Alpha 1 people. I want even Alpha 2 people to play it. But I do, as I said earlier, Alpha 1 has been waiting an awful long time, and I would like to see them get a love, for at least a few months, like PI has gotten. So just to show a little bit of support to us. But on that note, I will say that to Intrepid, awesome stream. They did a great job. The game's looking great. I can't wait to get in there and actually feel a part of it and do my bit as you guys, I'm sure. On the behalf of Quirion, the co-host, and Paranaut, the co-host, from Dunehold and Envious, respectively, and Overload from me, I'd like to have you hang in for a little bit. It looks like Jamie Chaos is still online. Gladys has signed off. And we're going to go ahead and raid Jamie Chaos for the first time tonight. So if you guys would hang on for just 1 minute, if you guys would like to say any shout outs or goodbyes real quick while I get ready to send us over, that would be great.
Thank you to everyone that came to the stream. Keep tuning in.
I'll try to be here. Y'all have a good night.
Useless.
Have a good one.
Let me go ahead and read Jamie Chaos. Everyone, you have a great night. God bless you all.
Bye,
and
Minton.
take care, guys. Bye, Minton. We'll see you on see you in a few days. Here we got just waiting 5 more seconds and we're gonna raid on over. And now we get more people coming in. Thanks, guys.
It's always that way.
Always that guy. See you soon, guys. We'll be back on Wednesday. Catch me with Dark Minton streaming, I think, on Monday for the one-on-one interview. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.